Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Hope it finds you all doing well. If not, send us some love, some positive vibes your way. Today, I'm about to hit the trampoline park. The last time that I went to a trampoline park, I don't know if you guys have ever been to one of these things, but there's just like, well, trampolines everywhere, right? Take the kiddo. That's when I first realized that I'm getting very old, even physically, right? Because I was just jumping, doing my thing with a little guy, and next thing you know, like, just jumping, not trying any somersaults or any backflips, just jumping, I like pulled my back or something, my lower back.
I'm getting older.
Wish me luck. Hopefully I'm not in a hospital bed or a chiropractor's office or something tomorrow.
How old do you think I am?
Anyway, guys, so I put out this video yesterday or a few days ago at the time that you guys are seeing this. Worse than epics, 20 worst legendary champions in the game. And as I was making the list, I knew that were going to be some controversial opinions here. I really don't like that YouTube took away the dislikes, because I used to find it informative personally.
Mama y papa, mama y papa.
Yes, I do like my own content too. I used to find it kind of informative. If I'm watching a video, if there's like more dislikes than likes, I'd be like, okay, this information probably might be wrong, right? So I kind of bummed out they took that away, but I can still see on the back end how many people dislike it, and there's a way to actually just go and see it as well for you guys. Either way, I woke up to a lot more dislikes than normal on the worst legendary champions, which is always the case when I make any sort of worst champions list. Let's face it, a common viewer, your average viewer, likes hearing about why their champions are good, and they don't like hearing why their champions are bad. That's one thing that I've learned here in Raid Shadow Legends over 4.5 years of uploading on YouTube, is that if you talk nicely about any champion, you don't get any hate. But if you talk poorly about one champion, that fan club AKA the owners who actually appreciate this champion because they spent a lot of time into really building a team around them or whatever, which is totally justified, by the way, they don't take well to it. So anyway, I thought we'd do something a little bit different in today's video, and I picked out the 6 champions. I want to give a big shout out to Salume, who's actually one of my coworkers at my day job. She went through all the comments, and she found the 6 most disagreed with champions, and she went through and screenshotted all your comments, rather. So I'm going to go ahead and review those, and I'm either going to defend my stance or I'm going to admit that I was wrong. And let me tell you, after just looking at these champions, there's some that I do have to eat some crow on. I have to admit that I was just wrong on these champions, and there's some that I am going to stand my ground on that I do think are bad or top 20 worst legendary champions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it with champion number 1. And that is Thea, or Thea, the Tomb Angel. Some half YouTubers call her Thea, half YouTubers call her Thea. I call her Thea. I don't know what side of the fence you fall on there. More controversy for you guys to weigh in on the comments. Michael Turner says, I've been considering trying Thea in Hard Spider with Mithrala setting her up with Hex. Kirasovra says, I use Thea team in SS. It's one of my best teams for 3v3 or against Torment Hegemon teams. Farm Villa says, I'm about to pull Thea during CVC, and then I say this. And then Jeremims chimes in, Thea hits harder than any nuker if you set her up right. Mark says, great vid. You got it right for every champ except for Thea. HH did a spotlight on her in Rule, and she slaps, says Mark. Cyclonic 99, I like Thea, but that's my opinion. Bill G, I thought, hey, if Thea was on all Hex team, perhaps? This guy, who I can't pronounce his name, says, disagree strongly on Thea. I'm free to play, I've been playing for 3 years, and I still don't have a Seer or a Poison Exploder. So Thea is my speedrun queen with Mithrala, Lydia, and double Kymars. Mithrala, Lydia, and double Kymars is not bad for a free-to-play, right? Granted, Mithrala is, and Lydia are gettable champions, so it's good for him. Creepler, has anyone tried out Thea as a nuker in Spider along with another hexer like Mithrala? She would be easier to build. Kevin says, I don't agree with Thea, the Tomb Angel on the list, besides raw damage. The one thing she does have since her buff is a fast rotation back to her smack and constant veil protection. She is really neat for wave-based content, great for Doom Tower if you don't have a Seer team. Nathan, Thea the Tomb Angel. I have a few times nuked me to the ground. It depends on how well you build her. Try a Kemptum with Thea, says Offer. Whew. Man, you guys can see that a lot of Thea the Tomb Angel fans out there for sure. So was I wrong about Thea the Tomb Angel? I will start by admitting defeat. Listen, I'm a little biased, maybe, right? I do have a Seer activation team, and I'm judging her on a curve. I'm judging her against, her setup is annoying, and the payoff, even though they are factually correct, hits harder than any nuker, whoever left that comment. She does have the highest multipliers. I think it's over 10 on this if you get the full 300% damage, which actually is applicable to Spider 10 or Spider Hard or Spider, right? Because there's going to be enough hexes there to get that maximum damage, which is totally doable. My only small rebuttal to Spider is you can make like really fast Spider 10 teams. By the way, I'm happy to upload a video if you want to see without any legendary champions that are even faster or at least the same speed as the Thea the Tomb Angel team. So does that justify, you know, her use case as a legendary? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, I do want to admit defeat on this one. She's not a top 20 worst legendary champion. I think I was a little bit too tough on her. That guy who said she's fast to get back after the to get back to her veil with the extra turn, hex, and then decrease the Not of This World on the A1. I think that's a really, really good point, a fair point. After her buff like a year and a half ago or whatever it was, I think she's actually a good nuker, especially all the comments that left their opinion on waves, right? She's a great wave nuker if you don't have a Seer or Poison Combust team. I totally agree with that, right? She is a really fun team, and heck, you can run her with Rule and other Hex setup champions. You can run her with a Kemptum or something in Spider and see great results. So I stand corrected. She's still personally not up there on my favorite nukers in the game. Personally, obviously I included her on the list, you know, but she doesn't deserve all that hate to be a top 20 worst legendary in the game. So I was wrong. Champion number 2. Queen Ava. Wow, a lot of comments from the Queen Ava fan club. Queen Ava or Queen Eva?
Nobody believes that, bro.
I'm going to give you an alternate pronunciation for every one of these champions. Gil Bates says, good old Gil Bates, says Queen Ava is my campaign farmer, cry heart. Doc Diggler says, I had Queen Ava for a couple years now, still level 50, no masteries, no books. She's still my campaign farmer. I can't say she's terrible because I spent 0 resources to get a 10-second farmer. She even farmed her own EXP once I had her built. We said, Noxic67 says, you don't do Queen Ava justice. Yeah, she's a great farmer, but also an excellent against UDK in the arena. Just use your A1 to heal reduction so UDK can never give your nukers better chance of knocking him down. If you get UDK's HP low enough, then throw up a block revive. Okay. Carlos Feliciano says, stop hating on Queen Ava. She really does need a damage buff though. Her kit would be good if she just did the damage. Well, that's my point, man. You're making my point. Cal, the one thing I'll say about Ava is she farms campaign at level 50 without books or masteries, so her value is about 5 chickens. Jay John says, oh man, I was so happy that I got her my first Ancient Shard pull last night. The latest double legendary, I'm butchering his comment, hit the Mercy spot and I got Samar Gemhurst as my first legendary and then Queen Ava as my freebie. Still waiting on Cold Heart, though I did get Mordecai. Okay, Ash, now that she's the worst, how do I build her to be effective? Well, Jay Johns, as a new player, congratulations. You did get a campaign farmer who you can take it to level 50 and put attack percentage on those boots. Just build her up to be faster than 102, 101 speed, Lord Shazar, and you've got yourself a great campaign farmer without any books. There you go. Next up is going to be Seeger. Says, wait, Queen Eva is bad? I saw a video of HH Edit where she clears a lot of content. Okay, time out. I think every champion here, by the way, says they saw an HH video. First of all, I love Hades, not a knock at him, because I'm just as guilty in the past. I've done these videos, right? Any content creator with good enough gear can put any crappy champion out there and be like, wow, we were all wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just be careful, you know? And again, I'm not, this is not against Hades. I love Hades. I'm just saying that just be careful with us sneaky content creators, okay? Next, M Throw says, Queen Eva rocks on 12-3 Brutal. She's only a second slower than Fellhound, a rare. Okay, this is one that I'm not eating crow. I'm standing my ground on Queen Eva. Queen Eva fan club, come at me. Come at me! Need a damage buff though. A heal reduction on the A1 for a UDK? No, I'm not. That does not justify legendary champion. A heal reduction on the A1. How many epics have a heal reduction on the A1? Plenty, I'm sure, right? Ancient Curse, a deny revival that doesn't do any damage. Congratulations. And then it really comes down to, yes, she's a good campaign farmer, a great campaign farmer. I will give that to you guys, right? I 100% agree. Anybody who uses her as a campaign farmer, you're not wrong. You're not doing anything bad. Congratulations, you saved resources. But all I'm saying is an uncommon named Saurus, without any books and resources and whatever, can do the same job, maybe a little bit faster. All I'm saying is, to this last guy's point, she's only a second slower than a rare. She's a second slower than a rare, and she's a legendary. Can't you at least give me that she might need a buff to, like, if your claim to fame is, I'm a legendary champion, and I'm a second slower than uncommons and rares, then that to me does not convince me otherwise. So I apologize, but I'm standing my ground on Queen Ava. To that guy's point, Queen Ava rocks. She just needs a big buff. Champion number 3 is Pixiel, who Invisible Guy says, I assume I was skipping around and missed Pixiel, as she had to be on there somewhere. However, Errol is much worse than several you mentioned. All right. We have Colin Cutler says, I have nearly all these champs guarding my vault, but I cannot believe Pixiel did not make this list. Dirk says, Pixiel, that is all. We have the Whiskey Ash brother, all 3 of my Pixiels would like to have a word with you. She literally cannot be used anywhere in the game, not even faction crypts. This is a huge whiff on your part. I use Gerda at level 50 with no masteries to get through faction crypts, and she isn't nearly as bad as you make her out to be. We have Exu Caviera says, Pixiel will always be the shiniest turd in the game for me. Julian Franco says, Ash, what about Pixiel killing the lucky Vergamcar Noble? First of all, man, killing a Lucky is not bad now. Vergamcar's really good now. Did you miss the buffs, Julian? Ryan says Pix needs to be on the list. We have Midi Uni said, I'd swap Rorik for Pixiel all day, every day, but I appreciate the respect for War Chief. I stuck up for War Chief at the end of the video. I did not include him. Martin says, I'm sure number 21 would be Pixiel. And then Beanie says, I feel like there's a bomb in the room. A bomb? What about elephants? You're just going right to the bomb, bro? Jeez. There's a bomb in the room not being addressed, and her name is Pixiel. Easily the worst Lego in the game. She's trash, even after 2 buffs. Holy mackerel. The Pixiel Hate Club is after me. I am being canceled by the Pixiel Hate Club here on the channel. Guess what, guys? Guess what? I'm gonna piss you all off even more. Martin, she's not even number 21, bro. She's not even number 21.
I say we kill him. Yeah! I say we hang him, then we kill him. Yeah! I say we stop him. Yeah! I say we let him go. No!
I'm standing my ground on Pixiel as well, my friends. Listen. I'm just asking for all the dislikes here. I want everybody to take a deep breath, and I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to forget this champion's name is Pixiel. And I want you to forget everything you know about Pixiel. And I want you to take a fresh look at her kit. And I want to be very clear as a quick disclaimer. I'm not saying she's a great champion. I'm just saying she's no longer a top 20 legendary, in my opinion. And that's the beautiful thing about this game. We all have opinions. I can change them sometimes, like Thea, and then other times, like Pixiel, I'm not going to. Plays a perfect Veil buff for 1 turn on the ally with lowest HP on the A1. Pretty solid A1. It's not the best, but a perfect Veil for 1 turn on the ally with lowest HP is actually pretty solid. On the A2, Grip of Winter. Remember, this is not Pixiel, just a random champion they're added to the game, right? Increased defense, and a continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns, then you can kind of ignore the rest, right? Just picture the increased defense big version, continuous heal big version, 3-turn cooldown. Okay, pretty solid ability, right? Not the best in the world, but it's a solid ability. Then she attacks all enemies under freeze, places a weaken on those enemies under freeze. Okay, whatever. Don't like the conditionality, but whatever. The first half is solid anyway. Here's her A3. This is a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, 100% chance of placing a freeze for 1 turn. Okay, so now we get 100% freeze on a 4-turn cooldown. Great. And hey, if we open with this, we can come in with the A2 if we want to and place a weaken on them and do a little bit of damage if we want to. You know, we don't have to if we want to. And then we have this passive, a 2-turn cooldown. Immune to freeze, fills this champion's turn meter by 25% every time an ally receives a freeze. That's the passive effect. That's just active all the time. And then on a 2-turn cooldown at the end of each enemy or ally turn, removes all freeze debuffs from all allies. If there are multiple champions on the same team with 1 skill, they'll only freeze 1. Okay, cool. So, okay. Resistance in all battles by 60. Dude, I don't care. I'm sorry, guys. I love you. And it's just a stupid video game. But there's no way she's a top 20 worst champion, man. I don't know, man. Maybe you guys missed like 4 of the 25 buffs she's gotten in the past. But like she's not the worst champion in the game, like everybody was saying, in my opinion. I'm going to bat. I'm dying on the hill of Pixiel, ladies and gentlemen. She's got 100% freeze. She's got increased defense. She's got continuous heal. She's immune to freeze. She fills her turn meter with freeze. She's at the end of an ally or enemy turn. She's removing all freeze debuffs from all allies. She's perfect veiling the ally with the lowest HP. Her kit used to suck. She used to be a top 5 worst champion in the game, arguably the worst legendary champion. Let me just compare to Shiramani. Nobody, not one comment said, where's Shiramani on the list? Shiramani people like. People love Shiramani.
Everyone's either gonna want to kiss you, kill you, or be you.
Freeze on the A1 triple hitter, that's definitely better than Pixiel's A1, arguably. It's different, but it's only a 25% chance anyway, but whatever. Rejuvenating Wave, 3-turn cooldown. What is she doing here? She's healing one ally and then 20% heal on other allies, and then a continuous heal on targets with full HP. Okay, so she's bringing a heal on everybody, and then of their HP, so it's not the best heal. She's bringing a heal, no increased defense like Pixiel, but she's got a heal, okay? And then she's got a 4-turn freeze. Fills the champion's turn meter by 10% for each enemy attacked. So she gets a turn meter fill, that's nice. But she got 100% freeze on a 4-turn cooldown, just like Pixiel. And then on her passive, oh, there is no passive. She doesn't have a passive like Pixiel, but then again, she's bringing some turn meter, which is nice. She's bringing an AoE heal, which is nice. She doesn't have the increased defense. But again, these kits, I'm sorry, guys, but these kits, you can hate me if you want, but they're at least comparable. You can argue that Shiramani's a little better. You can argue that Pixiel's a little bit better. You can argue they're different and they both have their own use cases. But to me, if you think that Pixiel's the worst champion of the game, you got to put Shiramani right next to her. To me, their kits are not that off to me. Anyway, I think I've made my point. Did I convince any of you? I just want one comment saying, you know what? I was a Pixiel hater, Ash, but now you talked me into her. Next. All right, guys, champion number 4 is Nadar, the head hunter. Jill Castile says Nadar had that day in the sun, or however long it was, when he was the best Lego ever on Sand Devil. He had the speed run, 2 seconds long, 6 seconds. He had a moment, damn it, and it was red hot. That is true, Jill. That is true. We said Nadar only revives if he's the last alive. That's not what he does. Wait a second here. No. He revives only if he's the only one dead. Only one dead. Okay, so that doesn't really fit with the theme of the comments, but it's about Nadar, right? I have used Nadar in Noob Tower to kill the Frost Spiderlings. His A3 makes the fight shorter. Aside from Faction Wars, that is the only place I've ever tried him. I'm going to make a +4 Nadar and answer the same question, Ash. Video coming out soon. Jarek Gaming YouTube. Shout out. Also, I'm sad to say so many champs I have in the vault are on your list. Player needs to go hard and buff these champions. I thought that Hacker and Smash Lord, honestly, was going to be the biggest hate that I got. But I was surprised that a lot of you guys agree with me, You can use Nadar to one-shot UDK. Can you? I use Nadar quite a bit. And Potion Keeps is good for knocking down some of those tanky high HP champs. My friend, I'm surprised with your number 20. He was number 20. He's one of the best knuckers in the arena and live arena, says Carlos. I built him as you suggested, and he's a beast, especially when I partner him with Kaimar. Better against Withir, Ultimate Death Knight, Deliana, and Alcazar, specifically against Affinity, no matter what, HP, blah, blah, blah. So there was actually a few more that I saw too on Nadar having a problem with me putting on his list. A few people referencing Jay Giggs and how upset he's going to be to see he was number 20 on my list. Listen, I was right and wrong. I'm going to ride the fence on Nadar. I said this in the video, but Nadar in Frenzy is one of the funnest things you can do in this game. And that's the beauty of Raid Shadow Legends. I'll be quick with this little speech. You can make magic out of a lot of these crappy champions, right? You can get utility, like some of these comments, out of a lot of these crappy champions. So here, I agree and I disagree, right? I think that he is not that great of a champion, right? If Potion Keeps is his claim to fame, he's not that great of a champion. That's just one of those situations where you're a new player, he's one of the first legendaries you pull, and you throw him into Potion Keeps, and you're like, wow, he's great. But it's just like, yeah, anybody could do that. Any nuker could do that, but he's still fun. He's a great champion. So again, I'm on the fence here. Beauty is in the eye of the proverbial beholder. It's just the truth. But, I like these conversations nonetheless. Next, Noble, okay? The real gold Wheezy says, what about Noble? His only use is if you played when Ninja was out. he actually is the upgrade, the empowerment champion for Ninja, right? So that's what that statement comes from. Pietro says, where's Noble? The worst for sure. Noble, says Chris Cobb. We get Derek. I always thought you said Noble is one of the worst champions in Raid. Well, he did get a few buffs. It's the same thing with Pixiel and Vergamcar and Errol and all that hate towards these champions who got buffs. Anyway, let me cut to the chase at the end. I'm shocked Noble didn't make the list, to be honest. We have, and someone said, I love it because you can get +1 on Ninja, which is true. I've had my Nadar and Rorik and Skrank. Worth it, but I'm surprised not seeing Noble here. I'm surprised Noble didn't see it either. I pulled him, maybe because you can use a no power ninja. Fair.
I can be more. I can do more.
How can you forget Noble, says Tarsky. We have Azalan Noble. We have Baroths. I'm surprised Noble was on the list. He's trash. I got so pissed when I got him. Chris Lee, I was surprised Noble isn't there. I mean, I only have 2 in the bottom 20. That's good. Dave with the Lakers. Ah, man, I'm a diehard Celtics fan. Sorry. Noble's the worst champion in the game. He should at least be on the list. Okay, we have Jill. Again, does Noble count as a horrible bad Lego champion? Or does the fact you can use him to get Ninja? Listen, guys. This one, again, I hate to do this. This is like really pathetic on my part. I hate when people ride the fence. But sometimes the fence is the best place to be. I didn't forget Noble on the list. He wasn't like, didn't just like slip my mind. I thought about including him. I also thought about including Allele, but both these champions and numerous others, I thought, you know what? I'm not sure if the hate has gone too far after the buffs on some of these champions, right? So Noble, I gotta be real with you guys, right? I have most of these champions. I played almost every legendary in the game, but Noble I have not. I, just like most of the comments, used my previous Nobles to empower Ninja. My Ninja's +2 right now. I have a Noble, so I could get a +3 Ninja if I wanted to, but I read his kit again with a fresh mind, the Pixiel effect, if you will, right? I'm gonna coin that, the Pixiel effect. I read his kit and I'm like, wait, I don't know if he's a top 20 worst anymore. So I was kind of like on the fence, so I decided not to put him. But let's read it over. Let's again, fresh mind here. Attack one enemy, 50% chance of decreasing the duration of 2 random buffs on the target by 1 turn. If the target's under True Fear has a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of all the buffs by 1 turn instead. Okay. Don't like the conditionality. It is what it is. There's a lot of conditionality in this kit. On the Harbinger, on the A2. Attack 1, now this is really important to recognize as a 2-turn cooldown, okay? 2-turn when booked. Attacks 1 enemy, ignore 30% of the target's defense, fills his champion's turn meter by 25% after the attack. If the target's under Fear or True Fear, decreases the cooldown of Dismay by 1 turn. Dismay is the A3, which is on a 3-turn cooldown. So again, if you get that set up, you get it down to a 2-turn, essentially, cooldown on the A3. Dismay is an AoE attack. Attacks all enemies. 100% chance of decreasing each target's turn meter by 50%. Wow. That's actually pretty solid. If there are any enemies under Fear or True Fear, will also fill this champion's turn meter by the amount all the enemies lose? Huh. Wow, they buffed him and I didn't realize it. Like,
Are you making fun of me?
Again, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that this is like the most broken kit of all time, but this being on a 2-turn, especially if you can set up, you're just gonna go like with the stealing the turn meter of all of them, he's gonna get an extra turn immediately. And the passive, whenever an enemy's turn meter is fully depleted by any champion, has a 100% chance of placing a True Fear debuff on that enemy for 1 turn, no cooldown. Again, I'm not saying he's the best champion out there. I'm not saying he's a beast or anything like that. I'm just saying that upon rereading that kit, just like I did now, you forget about the buffs, man. You forget about, especially like the small buffs, but they kind of add up. And then you look at their kit sometimes, at least me, and this is what happened with me when I was preparing for that video on Noble. And I was like, dude, Noble might not be trash anymore. Kind of like Vlad the Nightborn, you know? It's like, wait a second. I'm not saying he's as good as Vlad. I'm just saying that, like, that doesn't sound that awful anymore, you know? So I want to test him out, but I don't think that kit reads to me like an awful champion anymore. Am I crazy to say that? Next! All right, guys, but last but not least on the list is going to be Narma. And I knew Narma was going to be a point of contention with a lot of you guys. Marcus Samnell says, I don't use Narma not much these days, but for a long time she was my best poisoner, and the healing and buff extension does not hurt. Helped me get through Clan Boss and 2-key Ultra Nightmare. Also helped me get through Nightmare Campaign. I wish they made her poison attack an AoE because I definitely start using her again. And then some people kind of agreeing in the comments. 11 thumbs up on that too. Artem says, I really wanted Narma back when I had a speed Clan Boss team. Tony Smith says, I love Narma, especially in Dragon. We have Claudian says, I don't have Narma, but her kit screams. See, Clan Boss, absolute boss. Just put her in reflex. She's gonna go nuts. Turn off the heal. I feel like it's legitimately stupid to put her in the worst legendary list. You call me stupid, man. Why do I feel like this is just the case of CC's not using her enough? Dude, you don't even have her, bro. You don't even...
Just participating.
Why do I feel like this is a case of the CC's just not using her enough and having a consensus of she's bad? Also, your hate on Saoirse is just because you spent so much. She has good multipliers and great provoke set usage. Also, her base stats aren't bad. What are you talking about, LOL? Dude, Claudian is my hater. All right, let me respond to this. Number one is you don't have either of the champions, so shut up. Number two is Saoirse's base stats are bad considering you had to spend $20,000 to get her. Number three is I'm not mad because I spent so much. This is my job, man. It's all write-offs, bro. It's all write-offs, man. I make a lot more money covering raid than I spend on covering raid. It's a whole like business thing, you know? And then last but not least, her base stats, okay, with the base stats, like her base stats are bad. They are bad. I compared her to Walking Tomb Drang, who has way better base stats. Her multipliers are not good. So there you go. I stand by on Saoirse, the Shard. However, on Narma, you don't have her, so I'll fill you in. I'll fill you in, Claudian. I have tried her a lot. I think exactly what I said in that video. That in the days where not most people were running unkillable teams and in the likes in Clan Boss, she had a great kit, right? But since the meta evolved away from people using so much like poison being the main king of Clan Boss teams, granted in the early game, and I said this in that video too, she can still help you quite a bit, right? But right now with power creep, having added so many other champions to the game that have these AoE poisons, that have these instant activations everywhere, I think her kit needs a buff, right? And the thing is like, you know, first of all, Claudian, I don't mean like personal attacks on you. I'm just having fun here. But that all being said, with Narma, she's not an awful champion. But the thing is instead of just saying every champion, this is what how I'll close the video. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not sensitive. I don't have the thin skin. You can tell me if you think I'm still wrong. I love it. This is why I'm making this video, talking about all the negative comments that I got in that video, right? But with Narma, if you don't talk about how champions that have gotten power crept, if you don't talk about champions that when they add a bunch of AoE poison sensitivities and poison instant activators to the game after Narma was introduced to the game, some of them epic like Dark Kale, right? Some instant activators like Akemptum, a lot of epic champions who are arguably way better than Narma now. If you don't talk about these things and don't bring them to Planarium's attention, oftentimes they won't ever get the buff that they deserve because her kit is conceptually cool, you know? It is a champion who could be a big help for a lot of people and probably still is in the early and the mid game if you want to build a poison team. So again, nothing against Narma. I don't hate Narma. I just wish she would get a little buff to that dude who mentioned earlier in the comments. I wish it was an AoE. I wish it was a little bit something more, maybe a cool passive or something there. I feel like when they introduce a bunch of better champions at different rarities after a legacy champion or an older champion, she was released a few years ago into the game, I feel like, you know, it would be cool if they buff some of those champions at the same time. So guys, there you have it. Those 6 champions. Did I change any of your minds? Did I make you even more irate with me, the talking head, the YouTuber who doesn't even do his research on YouTube? See, really thick skin. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know if you want me to do any more of these in the future because honestly, I had a lot of fun. I had a blast making this video, going through your comments, trying to defend myself or eating crow, as such is the case in like Thea and I guess semi-Nadar road defense there, and Narma kinda, sorta, not really. Anyway, guys, send us some love, some positive vibes your way if you need them. Thank you for watching until the end, and as always, take care, guys.